Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast to guide you home into your human journey here on Earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard, and it is my delight to co-create with Gaia and share our messages from Source in this now moment. Here we go. Episode 461. It is Thursday here in Cincinnati. It's cold, it's gray. We're in the middle of some sort of winter freeze. And I'm coming to you from my warm, cozy meditation space here in my home. We are a couple days away from this next transition of Pluto, where it's going into Aquarius. It will be there for a little bit. It's going to dip back into Capricorn in September for 2 months and then move into Aquarius for the next 20 years, starting in November. I'm just feeling this transition so deeply, and what I'm hoping to transmit energetically today is this invitation always to go into your own experience, your own story, the magic that is your soul, weaving little nuggets and milestones and markers and signs for you all along the path that take you deeper into knowing yourself more and more and more. So what I'm going to be talking about quite a bit in here is Pluto and the transition that it's going through right now. What it might bring up for you is the transition in your health, in your marriage, in your partnership, in your life structure, in your job, your spiritual awareness. Like, it could be in anything. If you're able to use the energy, the awarenesses that I share here as doorways into your own experience, we are creating magic together. My depth of inquiry is bumping into your awareness and inviting you into a deeper inquiry in your own journey. And that's the point of this human experience. That's why we choose as souls to come to this planet. It's to have our own experience, be fully immersed in what we are, who we are, what we're becoming, who we've been, why. Like the 5-year-old question, why? It is the point of this human experience. And we choose a place where there are billions of other souls wanting to co-create, wanting to bump into each other, wanting to influence in whatever ways we agree to. And there's so much to explore. There's so much beauty and magic waiting for us always here on this planet. And I think often we are overwhelmed or numbed out to it, and we miss so much of the layers of the depth of it. And so, yeah, my energetic transmission today is, oh my God, drop in with me. Like, drop in with me and let's explore in really deep, beautiful ways the mystery of this human realm. So I didn't set a timer for today. I feel like I need spaciousness to share some of what's coming into awareness for me. And I'm also very aware I don't have full awareness. I don't have all the answers. I don't feel prepared fully for this podcast. I think there's just so much more research I could be doing, and I could have pulled the threads together more and made it more cohesive. And also, there's so much shifting inside of me. There's so much alignment and expansion that is happening at the same time, and being fully present with you right now as I'm in it feels like the transmission, feels like the invitation to come in with me and have your own experience. So it's a feeling. You'll have this feeling. You'll be like, oh my God, yes. I want to sit with you for a little while, Viv, and let's explore this together. Me here in the moment of it, and you whenever you match up with me with this video and watch it. drop in with me. We dissolve time, we dissolve space, and it's just you and I having this like, whoa, can you believe how it all came together? Can you believe the way that astrology and the universe and the cosmos is under every single shift in our lives if we're paying attention? And often we don't see it until years later. Hindsight, wisdom, perspective, it shifts with time. And then we can see this huge cosmic story that is our lifetime and how it played out and how incredibly beautiful and complex it is. And yet in the moment we're in it, we're like, I have no idea why this is happening. This is a disaster. I screwed up. It all went wrong. This, victim, perpetrator. Like, we have all these layers of stories that we put on the experience while we're in it. And it often isn't until much later that we can go, oh my God, it had to be that way. And I was in total alignment with the universe. Like, I could see now how God, source, the universe, astrology, my soul had my back and was shifting me, was ushering me into this next experience. And I was kicking and screaming the whole way, or I was so depressed I had the covers over my head, like I didn't even know. I didn't even know I'd shifted from that reality to this one. And oh, I see now. So I'm in this massive moment right now of what, oh my God, aha, like how? I have this whole page of notes where I was looking at dates. I'm like, there's no way that that's how it lined up. How did that even happen? And I didn't know. And I was just trusting the impulses and making this shift. And oh my God, like, wow, that's what I'm in right now. So I'm bringing it to you. Maybe while you're in the experience, my awareness will spark something in you and you'll go, oh, okay, I can be aware that this is the shift that's happening even as I'm in it. And I believe when we have that awareness in the moment that it's shifting, we are the most powerful beings in our creative ability. We are shifting our reality with so much presence and conscious choice, and it moves mountains. It creates whole new structures for the way that we live our lives. So appropriately, the title for today's podcast is Ready or Not, because I have no idea if I'm ready. I don't know, maybe. I'll see later in hindsight. And also, I've never been more aware of the astrology and the dates and the energies that are at play in the field around me that can support what I'm moving through. And so I feel like I'm really sitting in a moment of powerful awareness for the opportunities that are coming. I'm more prepared than ever in the structures of my life to be ready for the magic to open, like I talked about last week. I feel so resourced and supported and held and understood and honored for who I am in my family and my work. There's such steadiness supporting me, and my awareness of me has never been greater. My awareness, oh my God, the sage is like all over here today. I'm saging us. At the same time I'm dropping these ahas, we are being saged. It's a cleansing and an awakening all at the same time in one beautiful podcast episode. You just don't know what you're going to get here. Oh, okay. I feel so ready for this. And also, there's a big part of me that's like, I don't know. Am I ready or not? I have no idea. And maybe that transparency is helpful for you. Like, we can feel like we're ready, and we can also feel like we're not ready all at the same time. We can be ready and still feel like we're not ready all at the same time. What's going to happen regardless is time will continue to move on. The cycles will continue to play out. The shifts in the collective reality around us will continue to evolve. And so ultimately, it's always our individual experience that creates what we're going to be living. If we choose to be still, hold on tight, grip, we're going to stay in one energy, even as the collective continues moving. And then there's the resistance, the rub of like, am I being left behind? Am I missing something? It creates a dissonance within us because we can feel that time is going on and we're holding on to what was. I think one of the most beautiful examples of this is COVID and quarantine. And in my meditation this week, I was asking myself, my guides, I'm like, what do I need to know about Pluto and Aquarius? Like, tell me what most serves me to understand in this moment. And this beautiful download came through about, when we went into quarantine, none of us knew what it would become. We were all in the unknown. And yet some people leaped into the opportunity that it became and built empires, created new connections, used the platforms that were available and being established to expand and to broadcast their vision of life, their mission, their voice in beautiful ways, because they just went into the opportunity and saw it for what it was and maximized their reality. They expanded who they were and how they wanted to live their lives. Others, myself included, in certain times, chose to lay on the couch, drink tequila, and watch Netflix. And totally be on our phones, be like, what's happening in the world? It's a shit show out there. That's a crazy place. I'm going to stay here in my little cocoon and just be. Nothing wrong with that. But there were those who took it and ran and those who didn't. And then there were those who got stuck, who really, really got stuck and couldn't leave the quarantine experience. It felt so safe to them, or there was so much healing or calm that was happening that they didn't want to go back into the collective experience. And it took years for them to emerge. None of the experiences we have as humans, I believe, are wrong. They're, it's my reminder that I was supposed to be on a call that I think I'm going to be missing. It's a choice. It's always a choice. How do we want to be as a soul in a human form? And what do we want to manifest in our experience of that? I don't need to get into all that, like, we come as souls for individual experiences, and all of them are why we came here. So even the ones that seem very wrong to us, like war, to me feels inherently wrong. To kill another person, to kill on mass scale, feels wrong. My human opinion is it's not good. It's not what we should be doing to other human beings. At a soul level, I've described this in other podcasts, war is an activator. War is an instigator. It's going to massively shift the energy of a culture, of a location, of a control system, of a power structure, a power dynamic. War is going to change all of that. And there are souls who agree to come, I believe, be in that experience of the instigation in order to shift the energy. Those souls say, I will go there into the human realm because I want to shake it up. I want to be part of a change that's going to happen in the human experience. And so I believe it's a soul journey of what I would call sacrifice, suffering, pain. Like, it's a horribly challenging, in my opinion, experience. The soul who chooses that may say that was the most wild adventure I ever had. And I can see the ripples, the impact of my human life on the whole collective frequency of humanity over generations. I think of the pilots who flew the planes in World War II, like, oh my God, just the terrible roles that souls had to play as humans to harm other humans in order to have massive change happen. It's like ripples move through the collective in that kind of soul commitment to come here and do something shocking, different, powerful, maybe what we would call weak, the perpetrators and the victims are both souls who chose to come co-create some thing that would shift humanity. Who am I, as the soul that's living this one human life, to judge any other soul's choice of what they're going to co-create with other souls? We all come here, I believe. Every soul arrives equal to every other soul. And we come with very specific missions and purposes and intentions. And when we step into that experience, we're constantly being offered choice after choice. Are we going to go all the way in and do all the things that our soul decided we were capable of doing, or that we had the intention to do? Or do we come here and half-ass it, do a little bit of it, do some of it? Even that is not judgeable. Who am I to judge that a soul came here for this huge intention and only fulfilled 30% of what they were capable of? That's not mine to judge. It's what that soul was able to manifest or express in their journey, and it's perfect for them. The soul completes the journey. They go back to being a soul without a human form. They evaluate the experience. They're like, I think I want to try again. What life could I build this time, and how could I continue the work that I came here to do that maybe I didn't fulfill? Or maybe the soul comes in, does every single thing that they intended. They leave, they're like, oh, I'm good, I'm done with Earth, I don't need to go back, I'm going to go somewhere else. Or they're like, wow, who knew it could be that much fun? I'm going right back. This time, I'm going to be a female instead of a male, or I'm going to be in this culture instead of this culture. I'm going to be poor instead of rich. I'm going to be successful instead of unknown. Like, it's like this massive theater. And every soul coming in looks at the whole play of what's going on this planet and decides, like, what can I contribute? What can I receive? What can I activate? What can I witness, observe, honor? And none of it is unknown to all of us as souls before we come here. I believe when we're here, we don't know, we don't remember, we've forgotten all of it, and so we're just here and we're living it out. And it's exactly what I'm describing with these cycles with Pluto. Like, we don't even realize all the soul things that are happening constantly in the background because we're so focused on the human experience of getting up and going to work and making sure we have what we need financially and with food and with safety and communication and love and support and health. And it's a full-time job being a human. Trying to connect to the play of it, the theater of it, the consciousness of it. Who has time for that? And so I sit here in this moment, bringing all of this forward for you, for me, because for me it's alive. It's like I'm opening up a book of magic, and the magic spell that I'm looking at is, do you want to remember more than you've remembered, or you just want to stay as you are? And my whole body's like, more. This is my life. My life is like more. I thought I had enough. No, I want more. I thought there were enough experiences. No, I want more. I thought there was enough love. No, I want more. Like that. That is me. That is me in a nutshell. I am all in. And there are still times where I want to lay on the couch and have tequila and watch Netflix to kind of calibrate and catch my breath a little bit. But this idea of ready or not, like, I'm ready and I want to go more into it. And so what I have been going down the rabbit hole of over the last year is Pluto in Aquarius. So I'm going to bring some elements forward for you, and please honor them as being so important to me, important enough that I've spent this much time and energy focusing on them, and also hold them with whatever importance they are for you. So Pluto in Aquarius may mean nothing to you, and if so, great, no worries, like, move on. Life is good, and there's plenty of other things to focus on. My awareness about Pluto in Aquarius is an energy, a transmission of awareness that you can bring into your own reality, and it will spark awake awareness in you of whatever patterns you are ready to be able, not to be able, you are ready to look at, you are ready to receive, so that you can expand into something new in your own journey. So it's an energy ping that is coming from me to you, because this is so alive for me. I keep looking over here because I have all my notes. All right, so let's get into that. Now that I've given you the transmission of whoa. Let's talk about Pluto and Aquarius. In order for this to be relevant, I have had to kind of go back and look at the dates of Pluto's transitions, because I haven't studied astrology the way lots of astrologers have spent years, their lifetimes, immersed in. I kind of dip in and out as I feel guided, and then I do a bunch of research on one thing, and then I come back and integrate it into my reality. So Pluto is this planet of transformation, of, death and rebirth is how they describe it. I also think it's about power and this like tug, push-pull between energies. Like a lot of the history is about the monarchy versus the democracy, the individual versus the collective, the ones in power versus the ones not in power, David and Goliath. There's a lot of like tug of wars that happen in Pluto. And so for me, I started to go back and look at the dates of Pluto's transitions. Pluto moves very slowly, and it's, in my lifetime, it's gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be our sixth cycle, sixth sign that it's moving through. Pluto takes a little bit of time to move from one sign into the next. And so Pluto was in Virgo in, what was the date of that? From June 1958 until October of 1971. I was born in January of 1971. So right at the tail end of Pluto in Virgo. It went forward into Libra for a few months, from October until April of 1972. And then it went back into Virgo again for another 2 or 3 months before it moved forward into Libra. So I was born in the energy of this in-between. It was wrapping up one transformation and about to begin another transformation. I was born right into the little time in between. What's interesting is my husband was born just less than a year after me, and he was in the next one. So I was at the tail end of Pluto in Virgo. He was at the beginning part of Pluto in Libra. And so generationally, energetically, we're encoded with different frequencies, and we were just such a short time period apart. Pluto went from Virgo into Libra, into Scorpio, and then into Sagittarius. What's very interesting about the dates, so there's going to be quite a bit of my own personal history as I share this. Pluto in Sagittarius it started right at the time, is that true? January of 1995 to April of 1995. So Pluto in Sagittarius kind of started, and then it went back into Libra. And then when it went back into Sagittarius for the long cycle, it's right when my first husband proposed to me. It was right when we got married. And then both of my children were born in that time period of Pluto in Sagittarius. And then right at the very end of Pluto in Sagittarius is when my marriage ended. So the beginning and the ending of my first marriage were all in that energy of Pluto in Sagittarius. As Pluto was going through the transition, it actually Pluto in Sagittarius wrapped the day before my birthday of 2008. The day before my birthday, which I think is so wild. It zipped back, so it went into Capricorn, which is really about tearing down the structures and then starting to rebuild the structures. June of 2008 is when my husband and I knew the marriage is over. And from June until November, it was this very tumultuous time of reorganizing our lives. I started a new job where before I'd been a full-time mother. he was restructuring some things in his experience. We were living together, but in different rooms for a while. And then I moved in with my parents. It was all in this very rocky June to November 2008. It was such a time of taking everything and turning it upside down. And in my reality, because this is what I was creating, it was like, what even is happening? Everything was upside down. And then from, let's see, November 2008 until just this past March, Pluto has been in Capricorn. So in that time period, I got a divorce. I was living with my parents. I moved back into my house. My husband had moved out. I started dating somebody new. We ended up moving in together. We got married. My children have moved out. We now are in our own, they call it empty nest. I call it, it's a full nest, but there's just 2 of us now instead of 4 of us, plus our animals. We're in this new structure now at the end of Pluto and Capricorn, my husband and I, and we've never been more solid, more in tune with what we want to create in our future. Like, all of this transitioning has placed us in an experience that feels so aligned and ready. And now we're in Pluto and Aquarius. So the period that started in 2008 is now really wrapping up. I know we're going to have a little dip in September, November, where we'll go back into Pluto and Capricorn. But in my opinion, it's pretty much completing January 20th. Like, that cycle is now coming to an end. I think we're going to get a little extra, like one last little bit of more structure if you need it, September to November, but it's in now. What is amazing for me when I look back is in June of 2008, so I had this long period where I was home with my children and doing consulting work. And in June of 2008, when I knew the marriage was ending, I knew I needed to look for a job. And so I started working for a construction firm. And that cycle started of me really stepping into a bigger capacity for my work, developing my skills, learning how to lead events and initiatives and share ideas and make sales. And a lot of those energies were activated when I started working for the construction firm. And what's so beautiful, because I'm an Aquarius and I dance between realms, what's so beautiful is that there was a man who I interviewed with when I was getting ready to start that job. The only reason I got the job is because of the general manager of the local office. We met for lunch with a woman who had introduced us, and we were sitting at lunch, and I just remember going, I know nothing about construction. He's like, yeah, that's okay. I don't know a lot about marketing. How about we learn together? Which was so beautiful. He took a chance on me in a way that he didn't have to. And he became a really important mentor and guide in my life, like someone I really respected and looked up to, and still do. And last night, as this chapter is coming to an end, last night, early this morning, I was having this dream, and I was with, I think one of my friends was with me, and I was in front of a mirror. I was putting on some lipstick, which I hardly ever wear lipstick unless I'm going to see somebody or do this. And I felt him arrive in the room, and I turned around, and he was standing right in front of me. He's like, I came to see you. And I gave him this huge hug in my dream. I was just like, oh my God, like, I miss you, because he's moved out of town. It was just this beautiful, like, you're so awesome, and thank you for coming to see me, and like, wow. And so I woke up, and I was just laying there. I'm like, what does this mean? What does it mean? And it feels like such a completion of what you started in 2008, Viv, is now complete. And I see that, and I honor that, and I celebrate you, and I'm here to give you a hug and tell you, you've got this, keep going. Like, that's what it felt like to me. It was, that chapter's over, new one's beginning, and we need to mark the moment. And at a soul level, like, I receive that magic. I receive that validation from my soul and his soul that, like, I've done this. I've completed this cycle in a way that is, my soul would celebrate. My soul will celebrate how I've mastered so many lessons in this time. in this period of Pluto and Capricorn, how I've really developed the resources within myself, the awareness within myself to go to the next experience, to cross into the next threshold. And I'm ready for that. So that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Do you see all the ahas and how there's so much to tell you and I couldn't put a timer on it? And also, like, I don't even know. I hope all this is landing for you because it's so big for me right now. So Pluto in Capricorn has been a time of building the structures, the platforms, the foundation for the reality that can hold what the next experience is going to be. Pluto in Aquarius is a very different frequency or energy than Pluto in any other sign, just like has been for each of the other signs. And because we move through those signs so slowly, 15, 20 years, we have lots of space to really receive the shifts, the energetics, the lessons. I believe our soul chooses so many of the details astrologically and energetically of what we're going to be moving through. And so for a soul to choose to be in specific Pluto signs, there's something there for us. For me, I'm an Aquarius sun, Aquarius moon. I feel like this Aquarius energy is a teaching moment for me at the next level. So if Capricorn has been providing the structure, I feel like Pluto in Aquarius is going to be providing the mastery. What do I do with all that I've been learning in my human journey so far? How do I bring balance? Aquarius sun, Aquarius moon. How do I balance within myself the next level of my own infinite embodiment, my own infinite expression in this human realm? So it's a huge shift for me and for everyone. What was so magical this week, because I've done some research and I haven't found enough information, and I do my meditation, I receive these downloads, and I just keep trying to gather all of the pieces. Well, this week when I was on YouTube looking at Santara's videos, right underneath that was one by the podcast, the astrology podcast. I don't know if I have the names right. It's Chris Brennan and Nick Dagan Best created this 4-hour episode that is called Pluto into Aquarius in History. Oh my God, I felt like I hit the jackpot. Like, this is everything I've been looking for. So somehow this week, in between all the things I've been doing, I fit in 4 hours of listening to this podcast, stopping, taking notes, because I'm a 5/1, I'm a researcher in human design. It has been so fascinating to see the patterns and the cycles of what Pluto does when it's in the sign of Aquarius. If you are into astrology like I am, I think you will be amazed to watch these historians of astrology bring it together. It's mastery. It's just incredible. And I don't know how they gather all of their data, but hello. One of the biggest awarenesses I've had is we talk about AI as a tool to bring data and condense it and then provide a quick summary. There's still something about having a human look at the stories through a human lens and bring that into a summary. So these two gentlemen have spent, I don't even know how many months, researching all of this data. And then they bring just the best nuggets into each of the cycles. So they went all the way back to 600 BC to look at the cycles of when Pluto has been in Aquarius. What were the things happening in history? What were the technological advancements, the scientific discoveries, the cultural shifts, the religious shifts, like what was happening? And then they've started to find the threads, the commonalities in each of those cycles over all the years, and then bring them together into this podcast with all the stories, with all the magic, with all the little details that, like, you get it because of the details that they bring. AI will never do that, I don't believe. Humans do that. And so to be on the receiving end of this massive compilation of data into this beautiful gift about a topic that is so interesting to me, so essential to my next evolution of my soul. Like, so of course, I'm like, I created that. I wanted that. I sent that desire out into the universe, and it pinged something awake in these beautiful men, and they created this gift just for me. Of course, 400 other people in the comments said exactly the same thing. But that's the beauty of co-creation on this planet. We can have multiple ones of us creating a desire, and that desire speeds up the manifestation. And then if we're awake and watching the signs and paying attention, it brings us all together. Magic. It's so incredible. So incredible. There were tons of themes that they talk about. A couple that I just want to bring forward because I'm going to take a 4-hour summary and condense it into this little 5 minutes I'm going to share here with you about the podcast. They were able to find throughout history the different technological advancements. They called it technologies, the new technologies that were brought forward specifically in Pluto and Aquarius timeframes, and how those technologies were either introduced or advanced very rapidly in those timeframes of Pluto and Aquarius. So, for example, silk, which led to paper, which led to printing presses. The printing presses, at the same time, gunpowder was being explored. Gunpowder led to guns, led to cannons, led to war, like horrible ways that we could begin killing each other. The silk from the very original cycles of Pluto that they were able to track also led to parchment, which led to paper, which led to the structure of hot air balloons. So the first hot air balloon was introduced, which led to flight. It's like layers upon layers. They talked about astrology being introduced in one of the very first cycles of Pluto and Aquarius, but it was astrology like the stars impacting governments, collective cultures, countries. And so astrology was used as a powerful tool to control the choices that would impact the masses. The next 250-year later cycle, birth charts were introduced. This idea that you could look at an individual and see what the stars would say for the individual. So then people were able to start paying and exchanging, and natal astrology started to spread. They talked about astronomy, the study of the planets. Uranus was discovered in a Pluto and Aquarius cycle. I'm not saying it right, discovered that the sun was actually the center of our universe, not Earth. That happened in a Pluto and Aquarius cycle, which, in my own observation listening to them, that was one of the threads that I really enjoyed the most. It was this reorientation of the individual and the collective. So, for example, in Horton Hears a Who, that movie, I love that movie so much. The Who culture believes that the universe is their universe. This is the world. This is everything. There's nothing else. And then an elephant picks up their little dandelion, which is their whole universe, and starts walking around with the dandelion until the elephant hears the little whoos on the dandelion is like, oh, there's actually a whole world inside of that little thing. I should protect them. But the little whoos don't realize that there's this other whole world that's happening around them. It's like the ant in the field of grass that doesn't realize there's like people walking around on top of all the ants. There's a way that we are so centralized. So it's not necessarily self-centered. It's like we're centralized in our own experience that we forget that there's like all these other experiences happening around us. So yes, we're Earth, but guess what? Earth is like teeny, tiny in the whole universe. We're like, in all of the books I've written, I've talked about Earth as the tiny blue planet. It's the little bitty thing, like the Who world. Like, it's the tiny little planet, and the rest of consciousness is like, you think Earth's gonna make it? You think humans are going to be able to figure it out? What is that experiment that's going on over there? But we are self-centralized, so we feel like it's us and there's nothing else. There's only this world. And then we'll go discover Jupiter. We'll go discover Pluto. Whatever. So it's been fascinating as I was listening to their podcast, because they were talking about the layers of discovery. how in one time period there was this huge, like the sun is the center of the universe. The earth revolves around the sun. There was a whole piece about philosophy saying that every planet revolves in a circular fashion around the sun. And so the next, Jade is up here with us now, the next evolution was, no, actually, it's that philosophy is wrong. It's not that it's a circular rotation, it's an elliptical rotation. And Pluto specifically isn't even consistent. It's a little more erratic. So we redefine astronomy, which redefines astrology. There are layers that just keep being revealed to us, and I can't possibly summarize all that they said because they were moving, so fast as they were sharing the data. I think it's well worth the watch if you have any interest in like history and just the patterns of civilizations and the ways that we all are constantly interacting and influencing the cultures and the lives and the stories around us. Their podcast really is a beautiful illustration of all of that. What I think is going to be so fascinating for us is what's the next discovery? What's math, science, medicine, religion? They covered all of it when they looked at Pluto and Aquarius. And each layer revealed another like revolutionary concept. There's just too much to try to cover it all. What's going to be fascinating for us is we don't know yet what we haven't discovered because it hasn't been discovered. But as it becomes discovered, it is going to revolutionize how we hold our reality, how we understand our human experience, what we believe and then know to be true about everything we've created here on Earth. In my estimate, my guess, from my own journey, what I would propose is that I believe we're going to really discover the layers of reality in this time of Pluto and Aquarius. We're going to be going into an exploration of consciousness. So not necessarily science, but more the unknown, the infinite, like in the Matrix, the layers of reality that we have held to be true because they are absolute, I believe are going to start to either become more malleable or we will understand our power within them in a way that we haven't before. And that's going to open up so much creativity and expression, and I don't even know. I don't even know. But it's very, very exciting. The other element that I think is very important to also bring in, I love how Jade has just planted herself on my lap for this part. Every cycle is going to shift us into the next cycle. So when I looked back at my lifetime from Pluto being in Virgo until now, Pluto Capricorn about to go into Pluto in Aquarius, I'm also very aware that in 20 years, in 2044, we're going to move into Pluto in Pisces. So there will be another transition, another shift of energy, of astrology, a collective shift that will go from Aquarius into Pisces. I think it's fascinating that I am married to a Pisces, and I feel the harmony, the unification, the oneness that is such a central theme with Pisces humans, the zodiac Pisces energy. It's the wrap up of the whole zodiac cycle before we begin again with Aries. And I just get the sense that a lot of what we have known to be true, we're going to be exploring in Aquarius, like redefining, opening up new realms and then closing down ones that no longer serve. And all of that is to bring us, like, from all of this jumbled energy that is Capricorn dissolving structures and hierarchies, we're going to be morphing and playing and changing with it in Aquarius so that by the time we arrive in Pisces, we are more unified. As a human experience, as a human species, we are going to be more in collaboration and harmony now, like in 20 years, in order to co-create in that Pluto and Pisces time period in a way that we never have before. So right now I'm sitting at 53. Next week, Friday, I'll be 53. And I have 20 years of Pluto in Aquarius. So that will put me at 73 when Pluto moves into Pisces. At 73, how much more am I going to know? How much more am I going to have clarified within myself? Like, what will I be able to contribute to a collective intention of harmony, of unification, of oneness? Like, oh my God, that's so exciting. And so I have some work to do in Pluto and Aquarius in order to be ready for that next cycle. And my guess is, I don't know if I'm going to make it all the way through Pluto and Pisces, and I don't know if it's necessary. Like, my soul may be like, let's go somewhere else. What else are we going to do? And I'll be fine with that. But there's this opportunity for me, for all of us, in Pluto and Aquarius. Hi, baby. She's so sweet right now. She's just so happy. There's this opportunity for all of us to redefine, dissolve some stuff that isn't in alignment, strengthen what is the best about us in that Pluto and Aquarius creative, unique identification, the me that wants to contribute the best to the we, to create a better we. Like, all of that gets to be played with in this next cycle of the next 20 years. So it's just like when I was describing COVID and quarantine. We can go into this next period of consciousness, this period of astrology, this energy. We can go into it sleepy, tired, like Jade, wanting to just take a nap, sleep through COVID and quarantine, rest, recalibrate. That's totally okay. And that's not how I'm going into it. Like, ready or not, here I come. I feel so prepared, even as I'm unprepared, so awake and alive, even as I'm like, I have no idea. And so I'm curious to see what it becomes. And yeah, I'm playing the best I've ever played before in my human experience. And I'm just sharing that with you. So what will happen? I don't know. And I'm going to keep showing up week after week. That feels like such a Capricorn grounded structure for me to constantly be holding myself accountable to sitting in this chair and talking to you, going, here's what happened this week. I don't even know. What about this? If there's a way to make it a dialogue through the comments, oh my God, that would be so nice. So please share your thoughts, your ahas. It really does matter to me. I know I'm sending this out, but it's so nice to receive the feedback, and I read what you send. So please engage with me. I would really appreciate that and enjoy that. I'm also going to be doing more dialoguing over on my Instagram account. I just started yesterday. It's called Lighting Up the Grid. And I'm doing live chats on Instagram with different people who inspire me. So if you haven't seen me in a dialogue, if it's always just been this, I think you would really enjoy watching and meeting the people that I want you to get to know, to learn about. One of my geniuses definitely is building connection, collaboration, having community form, and I've done it in so many different ways, and now I'm doing it in this virtual technology way, which is Pluto in Aquarius. I'm modeling how we can get to know others and deepen our human experience even through technology. So come follow me on Instagram if you're not yet, on my business page. It's infinite.embodiment.in.gaia. And the Lighting Up Our Grid will be every Wednesday, different people, different topics. It's really through the lens of, tell me your story. Share with us who you are and why your soul chose this planet, and if you're in alignment with what your mission you feel is, and what your story's been like. I think that conversation we don't always have. We talk about our work or our family, or I don't know, we don't always talk about why we chose to come here to this planet. And so that's the space where we'll be doing that in a dialogue format. And then obviously I have my community in the practicum, where this is what we do. We share our ahas. We talk about the ways the energy is moving. I model what I live. I teach what I live. Yeah, it's just a beautiful space to really deepen into the human journey and to do it in community. So if you haven't looked at the Practicum webpage yet, I encourage you to spend a little time, go visit it on my website. It's viviennegerard.com. It's under You and Me, and then it's the Practicum community. And all of the different classes and price points and time commitments are listed, and you can kind of feel like, let me try this one and see how it goes, and if I want more, I'll upgrade, or whatever feels right to you. It's a 1-year commitment for a reason. It's because it takes a while to get to know each other. It takes a while to trust that you can drop in. If you're new to my podcast, this is how I live. I just drop right in and I share. Not everybody is like that. And so the spaces that I hold, let you calibrate and adjust, and then feel safe enough to go, okay, all right, I'm ready. How do we deepen this conversation? And from there, it's up to you. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? Once you've been introduced to this way of being in a relationship with other people, how do you integrate that into your life? How do you take the gift of safe community spaces and embody it, and then walk with it and be that in more and more places? It's an incredible time right now to really transform this human experience, and I am all in for it. So come play, come hang out, let's do this together. All right, Jade's officially asleep. Pluto in Aquarius, it happens on Saturday. I'm going to spend some time that morning journaling and meditating and celebrating, because I'm fully aware that the shift is happening. And then my husband and I are going to look at new windows, because that's what you do when Pluto moves into Aquarius. You look at windows. Life. I wish you such a beautiful week. I will see you next week, the day before my birthday, and we will gather again. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.